Welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be talking about why I don't think adding an apothecary to the game is a good idea. And to really drive that point home, if you look at any game in the past, when they have a medic of sorts, it becomes, all right, who's going to be the medic? Because you can't have a medic dealing as much damage as the other classes, because then it just feels like, oh, everybody wants to be the medic. You kidding me? I get to deal the most damage and I get to heal the teammates. In a game like this where health is extremely limited, having somebody who just heals you instantly with no drawbacks is massively powerful. So in order to offset that massive power advantage, they have to nerf the damage that they do to have a quote unquote balanced class. Now, they may not do that. They may just say, hey, listen, we're going to give this guy the best weapons and, use his ability and everybody gets full health, something along those lines. Or maybe everybody gets a health chunk back and you can only use it every so often. But I think the other characters they could add to the game because the idea is to increase the survivability of the team, adding a class that does that. So to me, the better people to add would either be a chaplain or a tech marine. And I know they've talked about these three classes over and over again, but I really want to talk about what the cool part of having a chaplain versus a tech marine would be, and what I hope that they make those abilities. So with the chaplain, I hope they have his ultimate be a litany where he starts chanting and everybody has an opportunity to kind of gather around him and it generates temporary health as he's doing it. That way, as they're fighting, they're starting to regain little health chunks back as they're doing it, as opposed to the bulwark where it's just like, hey, you maxed out your temporary health, fight as hard as you can right now, to get your health back, or perform an execution where everybody can get their health back. And so I think that would be really cool with the chaplain, is just having him get around him. He just continuously generates temporary health, and you can kind of fight back harder and get that back as well, and maybe even given like a damage boost or something like that with the chaplain. It's a little bit, it's not just here's health, so it's not as overpowered as like the apothecary would be, which is, and again, maybe they could do it in a way that makes sense with the apothecary. I just can't see a way of them writing his ability that wouldn't just be like, here's healing. And with the tech marine, it'd be cool if he had a passive ability, like let's say it's killed 10 enemies in rapid succession and you generate an armor core for your teammate. So he doesn't actually generate health for your team, but he's generating armor for your team, just increasing the survivability a little bit more, helping you kind of reset, get back in the fight. And then his ultimate could just be calling in like a servo turret or something of that nature, which would also be able to tie into the grim darkness, and having a servitor drone that comes in, and once it's over, maybe it just dives and explodes or something like that. That way it's not just hanging out with you the whole game. I think the other cool thing about having a tech marine is it'd be a cool way to add axes to the game, and he could either have the tech axe or the or a power axe, something like that, as one of his things that he could carry. And another good reason to add the tech marine. Again, and maybe I'm the unpopular one here. Okay, I get it. I understand that everybody's like apothecary, and I just, excuse me, I just don't think it's. I'm worried that it's going to be. It's either too good, and so everybody's just going to want to be it. There's no reason to not be the apothecary, or it's going to be, all right, who has to eat the shit sandwich and be the apothecary for the team, because otherwise we can't tackle the most hard difficulty. I feel like it's already kind of like that with the bulwark. Once you get to a certain level, I mean, you can definitely tell the difference when there's a bulwark on your team and when there's not, because they're able to heal themselves or others. You use less med packs overall, so it just increases the survivability of the team so much that it becomes, I think, on harder difficulties, especially with unskilled teams, apothecary would just be a must pick. It's just who's being the apothecary. And so you have to balance. I mean, maybe they wouldn't balance it. And they would just say, no, we want it to be awesome. And so that's my concerns with them adding an apothecary. I really hope that they don't. And I understand this is an unpopular opinion, but I think that's just how I feel. And I just want to get those thoughts out there. I feel like people are begging for an apothecary, and then they're going to get it, and they're going to be like, well, either it's so powerful, everybody wants to be it, and nobody's going to have an opportunity to, or it's going to be who has to eat the shit sandwich and be the apothecary. Those are my concerns. So, yeah, I think a chaplain who generates temporary health and earning people the opportunity to earn back health, or a tech marine generating armor for the team as his passives, would be overall a better choice. And it just gives you an opportunity to add more weapons into the game, because the apothecary has his drill thing, Narcinthium, I think is what they're called. But other than that, they don't really have, to my understanding, unique weapons, because the chaplain could also have the unique weapon with his, God, I should have had it written down, his crudgel, basically. His git stick. He grabs his git stick and he says, "Git." So yeah, I think a chaplain or tech marine are much better additions to the game than an apothecary. And those are my thoughts. I just had to get them out there and get them down, because this has been a topic that's been on my mind for a long time. So I'm not so needy that I ask you to like, comment, and subscribe. You know, if you did that, it'd be great for the channel. But I'm not the kind of guy who's going to ask for that kind of thing. So with that being said, I bid you adieu and look forward to the next video.